All right, friends, welcome back again to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment. Our YouTube channel is dedicated to all things Bannerlord related, but especially advanced battlefield command and tactics. And we are going to engage here in a custom siege battle. This was a request by one of our frequent subscribers to the channel. I'm going to show you the Aserai force we're going to be defending with here at one of the most common Aserai castles. In fact, let me show you the castle real quick. It's a fairly common castle layout for Aserai, and I'm not a big fan. I got to be perfectly honest, right? You have this one side that's far away from the main gate, so you either have to devise two defenses or deal basically with this main gate and sort of punt one of the two sides. If you don't know what that means, if you've never heard that term, that's basically saying you give up on one side of the castle. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to give the enemy 70% of the troops on the field. In other words, we're outnumbered about 2.5 to 1. And when you look at the units here, I've given both sides all of the units except the recruits, right? Both sides has all the militia and none of the recruits. Also, neither side has any of the minor clans. We're just using strictly Valandia versus Aserai characters. Now we're going to go ahead and give them one siege tower and one ram and one ballista, and we're going to have two catapults and a ballista. I understand there's 1,000 variables. I'm just trying to create a realistic scenario for something you may face in your campaign, and I think this is it. We will add a little bit more infantry here so that it's somewhat of a realistic army, and that's pretty close to what you might face as Valandia. Here, we'll give them a few more cavalry. We'll give them both a proper captain, and into battle we go. Now, I've told you already, I'm planning on essentially punting one side of this. In other words, I'm going to have my defenses focused on this main center part of the keep. I don't know how this is going to go, right? I don't have any experience defending Aserai castles, so we'll see how this goes. There's definitely a chance that we lose, but it's close enough that I think this is valuable for the channel. Of course, if you're watching this, it's pretty likely I'm not going to make a giant fool of myself, although you never know, right? I do upload episodes sometimes where we don't do particularly well. Now, I've got these upper areas to defend. I don't believe I can use this area up here, which is a real shame, because if you could put archers up here, obviously that would be great to be able to rain down at the troops entering the front gate. Unfortunately, we don't have that. However, we can use these upper areas. So what I want is I want high-end archers in the 8th Corps up on this top area here, right? We're literally going to have like 15, 20 archers. We're going to lock that off. I want another row of archers kind of here. So we'll put about 10, 12 archers here. Now, the reason I want higher end archers right here is that because these guys are going to be shooting a lot of the battle, right? There might be other archers that get killed early on, but these guys right here are going to be shooting for much of the battle. Now, you see how it's not really optimal. A lot of these guys can't shoot except these guys on the wall, so I'm actually going to put even less guys up on this platform, right? We're going to run with 12 guys, 13 guys up on this stairway here. I think I can line these guys right up and down there, something like that. And then this seventh corps, we'll put kind of something like that. Actually, let's try a line formation so that they're looking more or less right over the edge. If I was the castle designer here, I would make it straight, right, so that you could set up something like that. In fact, let's try that. Let's try, sort of a straight lined approach, right? All right, now the infantry, of course, this is going to be very similar to what you see me do a lot. I think this is highly effective, and so I'm going to do it here. I've got two different divisions that I'm going to use in a square. The first at the main gate, 49 guys, and then this 4th Corps we're going to actually have right here in a shield wall. Right? This seems odd. These guys are basically going to be forces that we help deal with Valandian forces that are coming from that direction. We know they'll be coming from that direction unless we destroy their catapult. Unless we destroy this siege tower. Which reminds me, right, we're going to change this actually here. I'm going to leave this catapult here. I like that positioning, but I want a catapult. Let's see. They're going to have a siege tower. Oh, they have ladders there. I want a catapult, I think, right here. That way I can throw these explodable bombs down on the head of the enemy and kill them en masse. All right, so 1st Corps there. Let's stick to 2nd skirmishers. I get the skirmishers by selecting shield and javelin. And that's so those guys can enfilade fire the shit out of the enemy coming through there. Now, when I look in here, get close, Most of those guys have javelins. I can't quite turn it. Oh yeah, I can. I can do this. Okay, so most of those guys have javelins. That's good. And those are high-end infantry. And then I've got the third corps, which is going to be an attacking, slaughtering division, right? We've put these guys here. These are mostly high-end infantry, right? Most of them are palace guards and whatnot. And then again, we have this sort of weakish infantry corps that we will square here at some point. We will do something like that and say, okay, you guys hold out the best you can. They're not going to have a lot of support, of course, but that's what we're willing to do here. Now, I have other archers, right? I have this 6th Corps, 66 guys. So what I want to do with these guys is just put them here in a big, long, ambiguous line, right? These guys are going to shoot the guys at the gate. They're going to shoot guys coming on the walls. They're going to shoot guys coming from this direction. We can, oops, shit, I hit the wrong button there. We can square this 4th Division down here, and these guys will be shooting them that whole time. That 6th Division is going to be very valuable. We also have the 5th Division. I might be able to do something like that. See what happens. I don't think that's going to be highly effective, although that's pretty nice, right? I was able to kind of spread them. Sometimes you just got to fiddle with it. I like this. These guys are up this wall. They're spread out there. It looks like there are some guys on the stairs, and then these guys can act as a reserve, right? There's a lot going on there. In fact, because of all that, let's move this 7th Division right like that, right? And hopefully those guys can shoot over the railing. Now, once I start the battle, I'm going to actually go look and basically observe these units quickly at the beginning to make sure that these guys can actually see, right? Some of these guys are moving around a little bit more than I'd like to see. For some reason, those guys are all running down. I don't know if they're afraid of heights or something. I told you, mother. Oh, you know what they're doing. Some of these archers are heading up to siege, right? These guys very quickly on. This fucking dipshit here is having a seizure. But a lot of these guys are in good position, including those guys. Those guys are like up a secondary little area there. A lot of these archers, I think, can get good line of sight on the enemy coming up those ladders. Now, in a perfect world, you would destroy their siege tower here. I'm going to purposefully let the siege tower arrive in this battle. By the way, I'll be using this. This is not my character cheat codes. This is the RTS mod, right? We're moving around quicker because I don't want to waste your time, fellas. All right, so we're going to race up here. I think this is where I put the explodable, sounds like it, the explodable catapults. And we are going to look for targets. Actually, that was amazing. Those guys just killed like 20 guys. I'm simply going to observe here and nearly going. The other catapult's working. The siege tower probably, oh shit. The siege tower probably cannot be destroyed even if I wanted to. So we're not going to do that. I might be able to get 3-4 shots on it there, but I'm not going to try to, right? Like I said, we're going to focus on interior defense, and we'll just sort of simulate that the enemy was able to get a siege tower up. Now I'm looking around at my different archers settings. I don't know why these guys are moving. I definitely told these guys to get on the fucking ladder over there, get on that stair over there, but you will find your troops in siege quite disobedient, right? This is just part of Bannerlord. There's an argument to be made to putting some guys here, but they will get slaughtered by units coming up. Let's try this. I'm going to try dragging these guys, this 8th Corps. Since they're being so disobedient, they're kind of sprinkled all over the place. I'm going to try to manually position these guys in a better spot. What I'm going to do is I'm going to essentially drag them all over here. Follow me, come with me, and we're going to get some enfilade fire from up here, right? We're basically going to have another angle for guys to shoot at the gate. Let me slow it down here because I think it's almost bomb time, right? You fellas know what I mean by bomb time. See if we can position these guys. Probably not. Stand still. And what those guys will do is those guys will obviously now shoot down into the valley. All right, it's bomb time here. The enemy's bringing up their siege ramp. And again, you have to remember, we're outnumbered 3-1 here, or not quite 3-1. I guess it's 2.5 to 1. I can hear the math whizzes out there saying, actually, dude, it's like 2.33 to 1, but, you know, you're not too far off. Okay, so this guy has no throwing ability. In other words, he can't throw like Zuvan. Aserai guys can't, if their white guys can't jump, Aserai guys can't throw bombs. His second shot went astride. Once we home this in, though, I think he's going to be able to do major damage. And the good thing is that these guys are no longer firing catapults because they have no targets. So we're going to be able to do some major damage here, just fucking chucking these down. Now, the ladder has arrived. We're going to try to get a shot over here on the ladder. This is dangerous, right? I've got troops rushing through here. I'm going to have to kind of like fight my way to get here. Oh shit, not gonna be able to get there that way. Let's try to charge with these guys. What that'll do, hopefully, I'm hoping here, is it'll allow those guys to sort of push a hole and let me throw one of these bombs down, right? It's making those guys vulnerable, but they bought me time there for me to throw that ball. Even if that's all they did, that was like a very effective exchange there for us. Now these archers are getting pounded pretty bad. We're going to have them hold there. They are getting some protection from the courtyard. I can't tell if the enemy... So the enemy is in already. But you see what's happening, right? It's fucking ugly for the enemy. They're getting skewered. They're getting shot. A lot of bad things happening for the enemy. Try to get a few more bomb throws here. This is an option, by the way. You can fire it down there, but obviously a lot of times you're going to hit your own troops. And that's not going to be a good result for you. The enemy is coming this direction, but they're kind of trickling more than pouring this direction. So I'm just kind of running around with my bomb looking for targets of opportunity. The enemy's got a bunch of crossbow down there because, of course, of our traditional strategy. By the way, that's a plenty good opportunity. Oh, this fucking guy. So their infantry is starting to come in pretty hard. So what I want to do at this stage is pull back this square, right? I've got this 4th Corps. They do have an archer support division. I don't like that I don't have a ladder to get down here. I can't really help these guys. So we're going to give them real infantry here, right? This 3rd Corps, bunch of savage motherfuckers. We're going to hold fire on these guys and have them fucking charge. The enemy's kind of trickling up there, fortunately, right? That'll give those guys at least some chance of beating back that assault. And now I'm going to try to get down there because I feel like I need to micromanage more than I can from up here. Now, I understand this is more micromanaging than a lot of people are comfortable with. That's how I play. If you guys are like, hey, I want easy mode, how you defeat this, I can try that, friends. But there's no guarantees that there is an easy mode, right? We're outnumbered almost 3-1, 2.33-1. All right. And there's not necessarily always an easy answer. In fact, we're getting even more complicated here. I'm actually going to set a square right on that ladder well. I actually split this 2nd division. I want more support here at the main gate and also down here. Got this 3rd Corps here now to support us. The arrows are really how we're going to win this siege, right? We're not going to win with melee, but I have to have some melee support. Up there, those guys are pounding the guys on the ladder. As soon as they get up there, they're smoked. The gate square is looking pretty good. I've got this 2nd Corps here with the 3rd Division. It's now diminished. Right now there's only like 8 or 9 guys here. This is getting challenging. And unfortunately, some of these guys, it looks like they have too much bloodlust. They're just pouring in here hyper aggressively. But now that they're magnetized to the square, we send in this 3rd Corps, and these fucking palace guards foam at the mouth and go pouring in, wailing away with their fucking nasty axes. We have archer support behind us. That guy's fucking toast. The billmen, man, they are nasty. Anybody who hasn't been killed by a billman, well, you're not really living life, are you? Now, if you notice what's going on here, these are sharpshooters, so this square is no longer needed. We need this infantry division to charge. So those guys are told to charge, basically saying if there's any crossbow up here, we want those guys killed, but we don't want them running off, right? Right here they have archer support, so we want to pull these guys back. I know this is way more micromanagement than a lot of guys are used to. I guess I could try like an easy mode. I am actually working on a castle siege episode where we fight the entire battle literally without moving. I just set the units up and we win, right? I can go eat a sandwich. This battle's over. I just looked up the power bar. This was an ass whipping here. Our little defensive situation. Now we can just charge our units here. Everybody can cheer and roar. And there you have it, right? A successful defense here of Island Bailik, or Uqba, I think is the name of the castle that this gentleman asked me to record a defense for. Now, I do apologize. I am actually going to turned this with Clipchamp, this is my video editing tool, into 1080p. I hope that doesn't bother you fellas. I'm playing this in 4K, but because this is more of instructional and less about incredible visuals, I'm going to be uploading a handful more videos in 1080p. That's because obviously it takes a long time to process and upload videos in 4K. You see our forces are literally charging the Aserai all the way to their tent. And not just victory here, substantial victory, right? We skewered this fucking Valandian force, and they had good troops, right? They're banner knights. They got 18 kills, and we killed 27 of them, right? That's always a good result when their tier 6 units get skewered. One of them even ran, chased him out. They're sharpshooters, and this is one of the benefits of staying off the walls. They got 1 kill, and we killed 39 of them, right? That's because of this strategy. Now, we did punt entirely that far side, and there's no saying what would have happened if they made a bigger press on this side. Maybe if they put way more troops down here, they would have overran our defenses, right? But we had additional squares, additional defensive squares. We had tons of archery support. Of course, a real castle, God, and you can only imagine, like, if multiplayer, if you were allowed to defend it like real, you would put archers up here where they're completely untouchable, right? This gate would be fucking closed, or they'd be like a what's it called, a portcullis or whatever, a big iron gate where the enemy couldn't even get to here until they got to the interior, and then put ladders up, and you would have these archers here smoking everything in sight. You might even have the Lord himself. He'd be up here getting a quickie, right, with one of his mistresses. He'd get a little quickie on, and then he'd reach over, grab his bow, fire down some arrows here. It'd be almost like that horrendous scene in Schindler's List, right, where that horrendous Nazi Goetz, or whatever his name was killing people, killing workers for fun, in between banging his mistresses. All right, I've talked enough about nonsense. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this episode. I better stop moving it around in case you guys are getting sick. I appreciate you fellas, of course, if you want to see more like this. If you want to see custom battles, I am all for this, dude. I love a challenge. I appreciate the challenges. I just have a tactically, strategically oriented mind. This shit stimulates me, and I like making this kind of stuff, fellas. So I appreciate you guys. You want to hit that like button, subscribe, please, all that kind of good stuff. And I will talk to you friends next time.